Good evening and welcome to this new episode of Wrestling Breakdown. You got Ed here with you. We've got Vanessa on location, and with that being said, let's go to Vanessa, where she is at.
Hey guys, it's Vanessa, and I would like to apologize for not being there with you guys live today on the show, but that is because I am here in Costa Mesa, California for Invicta 15 taking place at the Hangar. Sitting in my hotel room right now and about to leave in a little bit. The card is headlined by Chris Cyborg defending her featherweight title against Daria Inobenia. I'm not even sure if I said her last name correctly. If I butchered it, I'm sorry. And then it's the co-main event. The strawweight title's on the line as Livia Souza defends her title against Deanna Bennett. So those are the two main bouts, but also on the card is Colleen Snyder versus Raquel Palui, and Megan Anderson versus Amber Lee Brock. And there's been a lot of changes in this card, so it's kind of hard for me to keep up. One particular that I was upset about that got changed, or scrapped altogether, I should say, was Amanda Bell versus Idian Gomes. Idian Gomes was having weight cut issues and was puking all morning yesterday, and we got the news exclusively from Amanda Bell that her fight was canceled. So, pretty bummed about that, considering that was the main fight that I was looking forward to. Aside from that, the main fight that I'm looking forward to is probably Megan Anderson versus Amber Lee Brock, and then if not that, Colleen Snyder versus Raquel Palui. So, I don't know, it's going to be a good time. I'm probably going to lose my voice. I'm probably going to be screaming and yelling and all that good things that fans do, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up of why I'm not there. I know I wasn't there last week either because I've been moving and getting things situated. But I promise I am not bailing out on you guys. I will be around, and just know that I'm enjoying myself. And for anybody who's watching the card tonight on UFC Fight Pass, please enjoy it. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Ed, I hope you're enjoying yourself and holding down the fort without me. I appreciate it. Trevor, thank you for always being so awesome and doing this awesome backstage work. And I will see you guys next week. I can guarantee you that I will be there next week, fully rested and ready to go and discuss some wrestling and hopefully some pretty cool MMA news as well. Alright, later guys.
Alright, well there was my partner in crime, Vanessa, on site at Invicta, and hate that she can't be here with us, but I love that she gets to go and do some awesome things live and in person, and I know that's the best way to be able to enjoy the things that we talk about here on this program is live and in person. And so, not going to begrudge her of that, that's for sure. Tell you, it's an exciting time for me in wrestling because some of my favorites are in the news, in the spotlight, getting a lot of attention. Let's just put it that way. It's so nice to see AJ Styles getting the publicity that he so rightly deserves. Watched an interview today that he stood there for 10 minutes, and you can just tell he is feeling very good. He's feeling very good about himself and his career and his decisions, and I don't know, with a lot of these guys, especially ones I've interviewed and things that are younger than me, I feel like their dad, and I feel like a proud papa. And so I'm proud that AJ is getting what he is about to get. I wish we had news on exactly when he was going to appear, but unfortunately we don't. I wish I knew that he was going to be in the Rumble He'd be a cool number 30, wouldn't he? Or a cool number 1. And take out about half the card. He'd be a cool number 17 because he would just be cool at whatever number he goes in at. Saw a match that he did at an indie show against Rey Mysterio Jr. And I got to tell you, his body conditioning looks as good as it's ever looked to me. I mean, he just is pardon the pun, phenomenal condition physically. Yes, I know. It was kind of weak, but it's the word I wanted to use because it fit. And so, in that match, there were chants of Royal Rumble, and that was pretty awesome. I liked the chants that went on with, how they do the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" and all that. Well, their chant at this place was AJ Styles 619, and the fans were given a great opportunity. It was a good long match. Both Mysterio and AJ got to use their finishers, so they got to see their 619, and it was just a good overall match. I apologize to you for being on the air a few minutes late today. Computers have an impeccable sense of timing, many times impeccable in a negative frame. Just as I was about to hit go live, my computer came up with your computer experienced something, we need to shut down and reboot. I said, no, I don't. They didn't buy it, so it shut down and rebooted, and so needless to say, I was behind on the opening. I'm also having it go very slow since I restarted, and I'm buying myself some time to get my notes to come back up. My good friend and family member, cousin John, took his time and wrote an amazing breakdown for us here for this show, and I want to make sure we get into it the way that he and senior producer Trevor did put the show together. And speaking of that, the Wrestling Breakdown podcast is sponsored by WrestlingNewsBlog.com. It is this is their program, and I just serve it as host for this, which is fun because I get to sit back and enjoy wrestling while Trevor and John and Vanessa do the hard work. Talking to you folks is not the hard work. So again, this podcast is from WrestlingNewsBlog.com. They are the sponsor and the owner of this broadcast. Speaking of people that I like and in the news, and boy, am I excited. Sting. They made the official announcement that he is going into the WWE Hall of Fame on Raw Monday night. WWE announced Steve Borden, will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2016. The 2016 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony takes place on Saturday, April 2nd, the night before WrestleMania 32, at the American Airlines Center in Dallas at 6:30 p.m. local time. Tickets go on sale this Friday, January the 15th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. WWE posted the following statement on Sting's Hall of Fame induction. "We are truly honored to have Sting take his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame," said WWE Executive Vice President of Talent, Live Events and Creative, Paul Levesque. "His contributions to our industry are unprecedented, and we look forward to celebrating his incredible career with fans all over the world." This week, Jerry the King Lawler made a comment that you would probably only hear from Jerry the King Lawler. "Sting is my second favorite wrestler of all time." And that's saying quite a bit, seeing as how Lawler has a son that's a wrestler. And so there we have it. Sting going into the WWE Hall of Fame, which is kind of different in that Sting built his career, his fame, not in the WWE, but in WCW. However, now that WWE holds the rights to everything WCW, it's only fitting, and we can now say that Sting has been in a WWE ring. And so that works. And it was the second week in a row that I got to mark out big time for somebody that I am a huge fan of being on Raw or being talked about on Raw. So last week my wife got to hear me break the walls down, and this week she got to hear me ow! And I'm going to end up waking the dogs on that one probably. Well, let's look at Raw this week. Kalisto defeated Alberto Del Rio on Raw to become the new United States champion. They have really given Kalisto a huge push, and he is an exciting young man to watch in the ring. We also had the Social Outcast group forming an alliance with Ryback. I don't know that it's a permanent alliance, but it was one of kind of convenience, as they were taking on the Wyatt family, and Ryback came out and went to their assistance. And interestingly enough, the Social Outcasts held their own. and were left standing as the Wyatts went taking off after Ryback come and made his presence felt. In a feud that is building and building, Becky Lynch attacked the Divas champion Charlotte. That feud is becoming ugly in a hurry. It started slow, kind of like Becky not wanting to believe that it was really going to be an issue, but now it's all out feud, and their match at the Royal Rumble ought to be very, very good. Brock Lesnar will compete in the Royal Rumble match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Interesting spot here. Paul Lesnar, speaking for Lesnar, wanted Lesnar to face the winner of the Royal Rumble at WrestleMania, but Stephanie told Heyman that Vince McMahon said Lesnar will have to compete in the Rumble. Heyman was being very cocky even for Heyman, very close to Stephanie's face, and Stephanie made it plain and clear that Paul Heyman was to never get that close to her face ever again. The main event on Raw was Roman Reigns in a 1 versus all match. Actually, it ended up being a Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens match. He was the first of the all. And I tell you what, both the guys held their own against each other very, very good. And then you didn't really know whether Lesnar was coming out to pound on Reigns or to help Reigns, since how he was about 1 against 10. And so he came in and he cleared the ring of everybody but Reigns, and then he F5 Reigns and took out everybody, leaving the suggestion of him being the last man standing, which is what you have to do to win the Royal Rumble. Get rid of everybody. SmackDown this week, Alberto Del Rio defeated Kalisto to win back the United States Championship. He had to do it with help from fellow League of Nations member King Barrett. Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose issued a challenge to Kevin Owens for the last man standing match at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Owens accepted. Becky Lynch issued a challenge to Divas Champion Charlotte for a title match at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And I noticed this last week as I watched SmackDown. I didn't watch this week. But John says Lawler has taken the role as a heel broadcaster, or heel announcer. And you can kind of see, hear, listen, whatever, to that the last few weeks building up. John made a special comment. I love the line from Lawler during the Dean Ambrose and Neville versus Owens and Sheamus match. Neville has a face that only a fist could love. And if you know Jerry Lawler's history and about his right fist, that's the king. No doubt about it. In some news from New Japan, they stripped Shinsuke Nakamura of his IWGP Intercontinental Championship. So if you were expecting him to hang around and drop the belt, you can give up on that idea. New Japan Pro Wrestling has stripped Nakamura of the championship, although he'll appear on a few shows to finish out his deal. New Japan Pro Wrestling posted an article early Tuesday announcing the move. Many expected Nakamura to finish out the month in New Japan in order to lose the title, likely to Bullet Club leader Kenny Omega. Omega and Nakamura started a storyline at the New Year Dash where Omega pinned the dominant IWGP Intercontinental Champion. After the match, Omega hit fellow Bullet Club member AJ Styles with his finish, kicking him out of the group. Omega then challenged Nakamura to a title match. The article stated that Kenny Omega would be taking on an undetermined opponent for the championship. Both Nakamura and Styles have been involved in rumors that they're heading to WWE. Styles finished up with the company at New Year's Dash, with Nakamura stating he'd be leaving after January. Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows are both still rumored to be leaving for WWE as well. I think those are all foregone conclusions with the events that have taken place. I guess technically they still have to dot the I's and cross the T's and finish commitments and things like that. They say that Nakamura, who was stripped of the title this week, is headed to the United States to spend some time at the WWE Performance Center in early February. PEW Insider was breaking that news. Nakamura is set to spend several weeks at the Performance Center to train and will also undergo medical testing, possibly in Pittsburgh, where they usually do it. If Nakamura passes everything, he would be cleared to sign with the company. So, what about New Japan and the Bullet Club with these defections taking place? It was noted previously that there were rumors that Bullet Club members Bad Luck Fale and Tama Tonga might leave New Japan for WWE, but as Bad Luck Fale announced that he wouldn't be leaving New Japan, reports emerged that Bullet Club partner Tonga will be sticking around as well. Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio mentioned on last night's show that Tonga has re-signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling. The 33-year-old has been in New Japan since 2010 and is a founding member of the highly popular Bullet Club faction. Shortly after that story was published, Tonga took to Twitter to say this wasn't the case. Tonga said he's still a free agent, despite the rumors that he had re-signed a new deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tonga is the son of Haku, who showed up at Wrestle Kingdom 10 and New Year Dash as a cameo member of the Bullet Club. Tonga's brother Micah competes for TNA and performed in the WWE and NXT as Camacho. Wrestling Observer newsletter reports the current word is that WWE NXT will see Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson debut at NXT TV tapings in early March. The Bullet Club name is still owned by New Japan as of this week. Gallows owns the rights to the name BizCliz. So, I mentioned earlier a match between Styles and Rey Mysterio at about the 2:34 mark, and again, you can go to WrestlingNewsBlog.com to click onto this video. Promise you, it is more than worth your time to do that. It was at the 2:34 mark that the fans chanted Royal Rumble at this indie show, and the word obviously gets around pretty fast that things are going down and happening, and I love surprises at the Royal Rumble. and not that it would be a surprise now. So the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. But I love Royal Rumble surprises. I've attended a Royal Rumble, 2012 Royal Rumble, so 4 years ago, and they're just, it's a lot of fun to go and watch. On the injury scene, Paige has been out for a little while because of a slight concussion. Former WWE Divas Champion Paige was not at Raw last night and hasn't been on the road with WWE recently. Paige last competed in 2015, taking on Charlotte and Becky Lynch in a triple threat WWE Divas Championship match on a live event in Rhode Island. Paige hasn't wrestled on a televised event since her loss at WWE TLC. Paige has been dealing with a slight concussion but hopes to return to the ring soon. For time being, she's at home in Florida. This is a great time of year for wrestling because it's the time of year that gets busy on the road to WrestleMania. So some notes on WrestleMania 32. Stephanie McMahon noted on Twitter that she was training last night to get in shape for WrestleMania 32, indicating that she may be wrestling a match at the biggest show of the year. Of course, at one point, WWE wanted Stephanie to do something with Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 32, but Rousey's status is still up in the air. It was believed she would not be appearing, but if she did, she likely would not wrestle. Stephanie's last match came at SummerSlam in 2014, where she defeated Brie Bella. The 100th episode of the Jim Ross Report podcast features Steve Austin. Austin said he's sure he will be at WrestleMania 32 this year, and added that there are creative plans in place that he's not able to discuss just yet. So it's always good to hear the glass shatter and Stone Cold head to the ring. And a couple years ago when him, The Rock, and Hogan opened up WrestleMania, it was one of the highlights of the entire show. So that's the impact that Stone Cold can have just by being there. Moving over to TNA, but before we move over to TNA, let's talk about Rousey for a second. We know that she's asked for more time off now from UFC. Is there any coincidence that she wants more time off and that WrestleMania is coming up? You add into the fact that Holly Holm now has a match with someone else before the rematch that Rousey gets, and you start to scratch your head and wonder what is going on in the camp of Ronda Rousey. Is she moving on? Is she just plain wore out? And so we'll, especially with Vanessa on board here, we'll keep an eye on that and report anything that we find out about Ronda Rousey right here on this program. Now on to TNA Impact Wrestling, and I tell you what, I am so glad that this change has been made in the Impact Wrestling this week. Jeff Hardy returned to action. He issued a challenge to EC3 for a TNA World Heavyweight title match. EC3 said Jeff had to earn it by starting at the bottom. EC3 called for a young talent to come out to face Jeff. A masked wrestler named Shanron, I may not have pronounced that right, came out. EC3 said he needed music and made up words to music that was played. Shanron said that he would destroy Jeff Hardy. Jeff defeated him. Awesome Kong is the new leader of the Dollhouse. The Dollhouse defeated the Beautiful People in a street fight. Awesome Kong in the Dollhouse. I'm just going to leave that alone. James Storm and Bobby Roode held a Beer Money Beer Bash on Impact Wrestling this week. Eric Young and Bram interrupted with EY challenging Roode for the King of the Mountain Championship. EY got the win to become the new King of the Mountain champion. Looks like they are setting Beer Money up for tag team competition. What do you think? The debut of Mr. Anderson's talk show, with guest Matt Hardy along with his wife and baby. Matt wants another TNA World Heavyweight title shot, says he has an offer that EC3 can't refuse. Later, EC3 called out Matt Hardy to hear his offer. Matt said he would leave TNA forever if he can't defeat EC3 for the title. EC3 accepted the match for next week and made it a last man standing match. Kurt Angle's first match in his TNA farewell tour. In the match, Angle defeated Drew Galloway. And I don't know. Wrestling companies must be starting to listen a little bit, because I've seen some phenomenal matches take place in the last few weeks. Kurt Angle's match with Drew Galloway was absolutely magnificent. Angle gave it everything he had. Drew Galloway left it all in the ring, and Angle came out the winner, but there was nothing to be ashamed of, that's for sure. New TNA knockout named Raquel coming soon. Raquel is former WWE Tough Enough contestant Gabby Castrovinci. Word about TNA and Pop TV news. Major League Wrestling posted a couple tweets noting that TNA is receiving right fees from Pop TV and contracts are being offered and sweetened. TNA is receiving rights fees from at Pop TV. This is not a barter deal. This is a very positive impact on TNA's payroll and operations. And then another tweet said, new contracts are being offered and sweetened. Many renewals are being pursued. Spin-off at Pop TV programming also being discussed, but to be determined. Comcast, which is the nation's largest cable provider, servicing over 102 million people this week, officially announced that Pop, CMT, and Spike TV will be moving to a premium tier package in select areas, putting it on the same level that Destination America is at. This is not a surprise for Pop TV, as it has been in the works for a while, and people began hearing about it last month. Basically, Pop will be moving from expanded basic to digital preferred and will no longer be available with digital economy. Digital preferred is the second most expensive cable tier. CMT, which airs Steve Austin shows, will be moving to the sports entertainment package. On the bright side, Variety reports that Pop TV president Brad Schwartz stated this week that Television Critics Association press tour, or that's where he announced this at, that Pop will grow their subscriber base by close to 8 million homes in the next few months. Season 5 premiere of Total Divas is this Tuesday, January the 19th, 9 Eastern and 8 Central on E! Some people might be surprised that Total Divas has made it for 5 years, or 5 seasons, not necessarily 5 years, but they are ready to run another year of Total Divas. And in some final UFC news, UFC President Dana White tells Yahoo Sports that Ronda Rousey has asked for more time off and will not fight at UFC 200 in July, as we mentioned earlier, just with not all the facts in there. It was announced that UFC welterweight Nick Diaz's 5-year ban has been reduced to 18 months, making Diaz eligible to fight beginning in August. Diaz was suspended in September after testing positive for marijuana metabolites. Let me just read that again. After testing positive for marijuana metabolites following a fight against Anderson Silva at UFC 183 on January the 31st, 2015. So that has been reduced down to 18 months, meaning he'll be back rather soon. So what is your opinion on wrestling right now? It should be an exciting time. One person I didn't mention was somebody I said I was excited about. Well, actually, I did mention him. I said I popped for Jericho 2 weeks ago. So we've got Sting, my all-time favorite, going into the Hall of Fame. We got Jericho, who ranks right probably beneath Sting, along with Jarrett and probably AJ Styles in my number 2 slot. And of those, they all could have been in the news because there's something going on with GFW just about every week that we could have reported on. And so if you're at Boston, it's great having the people that you follow the closest being in the news and like that. And but what about you? Who's going to win the Royal Rumble? And who is going to be the opponent for the winner of the Royal Rumble? See, usually the case is the WWE champion faces the winner of the Royal Rumble at WrestleMania. Well, the WWE champion is in the Royal Rumble, and even though they said differently the first night, this past week, they said it was the first time ever that the winner or that the champion would be in the Rumble. So how are they going to address that? Paul Heyman had his way. That didn't work. So who's going to win? I don't want to forget to mention too that Lucha Underground is starting their 2nd season, and up on WrestlingNewsBlog.com there is a great 10-minute video of everything you need to know about Season 1 of Lucha Underground, the show that our person that we respect, a person that we respect very much, Mark Burnett, is the executive producer of. I tell you what, you watch that 10-minute video clip, and you will see some moves that you don't see anywhere else in wrestling. It is high energy, high impact. It is different in that you have women in the ring against men. There are different titles. They have 6. I don't remember exactly what they called it, so you have to forgive me for that. But it's 2 men and a woman. 2 men and a woman. 2 men and a woman, with all 3 holding a belt. And hey, I beat Trevor to the punch on one. It's just exciting, and it's, again, I'm going to promise you, if you take your 10 minutes to watch that video, that you are going to enjoy it, and you are going to learn about some storylines that went on the first year, get to check out Vampiro, and yes, that name still exists, and he's still around. And recapping Lucha Underground will be part of what goes on at WrestlingNewsBlog.com during this season. So with all the other recaps that are done, which, again, I can't say enough about Trevor and his gang over at Wrestling News Blog. All the recaps that are done already, and they're going to add Lucha Underground to it. To me, it's a one-stop shop for all you need to follow what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. So, for the boss man, Trevor, for the expert writer for this week, John, and for the in the field, Vanessa, this is Ed wishing you a good night. Now go out and do the right thing, and God bless America.